our guest speaker. You might have seen Tony Dovale. He's normally behind that camera over there. Well, we finally persuaded him to come into the front of the camera. So he's going to be talking to us about what makes a killer company. And he's the founder of LifeMasters International. I was trying to memorize this, but he's got quite a CV, so I'm just going to read it. Tony Dovale is a man on a mission to change the world one step at a time. This is not me that's watched him over 8 years, it must be you. Trevor says, over 8 years I've watched this man of action stimulate business where many before had given up. His personal business experience and in-depth research allows him to distinguish between why most people and businesses fail in life and why only the few succeed. Tony is going to give us an insight to what it takes to create a killer company today. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Tony Dovale.
Afternoon.
Hi.
Anybody out there? Afternoon. Jeez. What is it that you're looking for that you've come here this afternoon? Just on a piece of paper, or if you can, wherever, write down, what is it that you truly are looking for? What is that one thing that you're expecting me to give you that's going to change your business? Because I can't change your business. I can show you things, I can talk about things, I can give you ideas, but at the end of the day, you have to go and apply those things. So just think about it. What is the one thing that you need to do in your business to get things going to happen? Just to tell you some ideas behind the killer company process, this is actually a game that I play with companies. We take them away, we break people into groups, and we get them to compete against each other to build a company that will kill their existing company. At the end of the day, when they're finished, they come out with a vision, a mission, values, and a massive, cohesive state or environment where people will almost die for each other. And it's an incredible situation to watch people from a disparate, indifferent, low levels of trust and truth and openness that can change over the time that we have the workshops. So hopefully I'll try and give you some information and some ideas, and I also want to bend your minds a little bit to see how closed we are. So let's get going. The business of business, or the business in business, the old way, the old stories, is the main man, what counts up there, always managed to throw the stuff down to the people at the bottom. And I was reading Jack the other day, and it's incredible how much pain and pressure and stress and strife the people at the very bottom do in fact take. So my question to you is, are you prepared to turn your business model upside down? That if you are the boss, that you're prepared to become the servant of your people and lead from the back and support them rather than being the guy in the front saying, follow me, I don't know where I'm going. So my real goals for today are many-fold. One is to get you into an idea of how do you build a company that kills your existing company? Because if you don't, I promise you your competitors are busy trying to find ways and means of picking up the market that you've already got. And the question is, what business are you truly in? I'll give you the example of Stanley Drills. They spend millions and millions of dollars in researching drills. But what is their real business? Anybody? Helping people make better holes. And so think about your business in the same way. What business are you truly in? Many people might think that they're selling bits and pieces, but maybe it isn't your business. Maybe your real business is people, is managing and harnessing the energy of people. I've got a formula for motivation, and I've got an incredible little game to show you the kind of mind lines that you carry. Let me give you the foundation of the killer company process. General Electric, massive buildings in America, electrical power lines across the country. When snow comes along, the lines get very, very heavy. And so the problem that they have is they need to find a way to stop these lines from breaking as they go along. So we're sitting up in the ivory tower, all the engineers and the brains what count, you know, the high-paid guys. And they were saying, well, we could make the power lines, we could shape the rubber a different way. We could vibrate them, maybe we could heat them. And one of the postmen from the basement came up and he saw the problem on the board and he said, well, it's quite easy to solve that problem. Why don't you just fly over with a helicopter And they laughed at him. They said, come on, get out of here. Who are you? But you know what? Today, they use Bell long-range helicopters to clear the snow off their power lines. So it doesn't mean that because you've got a PhD or a master's degree or whatever, that you've got the brains to solve all of the problems. There's a lot of gold within your organization. Second part, do you know what a skunk works is? Anybody got an idea of a skunk works? Where have you guys been all your life? Boeing and companies like that, what they do is they take their main people, they say there's a building over there, there's budget, do whatever you want, but come back with the most incredible new technology. And what Boeing brought back was my favorite plane, something completely out of the ordinary, totally out of the mold of what they expected. And what happened with the skunk works that I was thinking about is the bosses sent their people away and they said, go and design a new business system and a new model that will completely revolutionize our business. And they went away for 6 months. When they came back, they presented to the board and they said, well, you know, this is exactly what we believe we should be doing. And the board said, no, too far from what we're about to do, sorry. That whole team left, they resigned, they left, they started up in competition, and within 18 months, they completely destroyed their previous company. Big loss. There was an old hotel out in the Free State. You know, the 4-story hotels that they built in about the 1920s or 30s. And the engineers came in because the new owner said, we're going to refurbish and we're going to put a lift into this building. And so they got engineers, drawings and plans, and they had the best guys in town. Van Zyl and Van Zyl, I think it was, or Van der Bijl and Van der Bijl. And they said, you know, we're going to have to shut down for 6 to 8 weeks whilst we do all of this work and all the rubble. And the guy was out there busy sweeping, and he said, you don't have to shut down. And nobody listened to him. And every time they said, you know, well, there's a problem, we're going to have to shut down, we're going to lose revenue, he said, you don't have to shut down. And one day somebody said, so what, smart ass? How do we solve the problem? He said, well, why don't you put the lift on the outside? See, the solutions aren't always obvious, and we think that we know everything because of what we studied and read, but in truth, we don't know everything. Think about this. Nokia was once a forestry company. They're in what today? 3M was a mining company, and they're in what? General Electric, Jax. They owned CNBC, they owned video stations. ABSA was in banking, and when I first looked, then they got into life insurance, and then they jumped the fence and got into internet. And I recently got a call saying, would you like to insure your home appliances through ABSA? What next? And so my question to you is, what business are you in today? And what business should you be in? What should you be looking at? So what are the qualities that you have in a killer company? I've done quite a lot of work in organizations where we go in and do turnarounds because what's typically has happened, somebody's taken over the organization, there's a new culture, there's a whole mishmash, and it's a problem. And so what I've discovered are a few things that are needed to really build an incredibly powerful organization. And I'm not talking only about money power, but people power, because for me, people power is where it is. If you don't have powerful, passionate people, you can be taken away. And the first one is a safe place where the truth is told. I was at a company recently, and the boss said, we can't afford increases. And promptly walked in a week later with a new BMW X5 at 500,000 Rand. You know, the truth there flies in the face of the situation, and if you knew truly what happened to the motivation of your staff with that silly little move, it's cost him millions of rands. One of the other things, if you go back to your company right now, if you're whatever size you are, if you have staff, ask them, what is our vision? What is our mission? What are the things that are important in our business? Do some work with AST. Nobody knows what they're trying to achieve. The bosses go this way, the staff go that way, the Indians go this way, the warriors go that way. Just ask your staff to write on a piece of paper, what are we working towards? What's important in this business? And I think you'll get a big shock. And so it's important to have clearly up on the walls, but not done by you as the boss, just because you put the money down or took the first risk. But what are you as a team doing? Where are you working to aim together? Because so often people go to work and you're asking them to leave their brains at the gate in the parking lot and then come and do the paperwork, whatever you're expecting them to do. So make sure there's a clear understanding of the battlefield that you're entering. Any company that I've seen, everyone that is successful, passion drives that success. I was trying to, on my machine, I couldn't find the joke, but there was Hagar. You know the old days with the rowing boats? They had 40 guys on one side and 40 guys on the other side that were rowing, and the guy stood up there with a drum beating the beat. And there's this picture, he said, I brought you a motivational man. And here was this huge guy with whips and chains that he was going to whip them to work harder. We could in the old days, you could whip somebody and make them work harder, run faster, carry more bricks. But you know what, today with intellectual property, try that. See what happens. Just shuts down. The work to the rules. You cannot use old-style strategies to motivate your people anymore. You've got to give them a place where they can work, where they can play. I look at the hours that I put in. For me, I don't work it. For me, it's fun. And I love what I do, and I will do it 20 hours a day. But there are many, many people, at least 80% of people out there, that hate what they're doing. They're doing it just for the money, just for the money. If you took the money away, they'd be gone. So you need to find a way to bring out that passion. And the only way you get that passion is if there's buy-in to what the company's looking to achieve. Things change so fast nowadays that it's, people aren't too sure what their responsibilities are. And quite often we have people with responsibility but no authority to do anything. And so you have all of these people that are getting shouted at for not performing, but they don't have the responsibility to make changes. I have a friend, she owns 2 public companies, and their manual, they have a manual for each position. And there's a page or 2 pages that describes the inputs, the outputs, what is required, how you'll be measured. And then she's actually got the system down to a point where she can take one part of a job, one function, and take it out of a person's manual and give it to somebody else. And that person on a piece of paper has got a step-by-step formula on that function, how it gets done, how it gets measured, what is expected, what the outputs are. But she's completely systematized that when a person gets their manual, they know how they are measured, they know what their responsibilities are, they know what their lines of control are, even to the point of the guy that's sweeping can go to the boss and say, this broom is not right, I need another broom, I need that kind of broom here. So the roles and responsibilities are very, very clear for them. This for me is where I think the world is moving, is work needs to be a place that we can grow, a home from home. We spend the most time awake with those people. Why not enjoy it? Why not have a place that you can grow and learn and discover? Why not have a library that you can get books and videos? One of the ideas that I'm working on is like a temper tantrum room, but an energy room that you can go in, close the door, scream, shout, kick butt, do whatever, calm down, come back out, close the door and get back into work, because there's no place to unwind the static. We've got road rage, we've got queue rage, we've got air rage, we've got hockey rage. Our levels of frustration are so high, there's nowhere to unwind. And then you go home and you've still got to carry all of the stuff at home. With divorce levels at 70% or so, where is safe for anybody nowadays? Think about it. Where is safe for anybody really? From the research that we've done in some of the companies, we asked them the question, how much of your daily attention and energy do you use for protection, for self-preservation? The figure, average 60+% that people use to protect themselves and preserve their environment. And with the remaining 40%, you're expecting them to perform. Not going to happen too much. For me, it's about people. Stops, begins, middle, everything, it's about the people. If you've got good people in your business, if you've trained them well, you've coached them well, you've given them the lines to follow, you can then start building systems that you can walk away from and they'll run on their own. But you can't pay peanuts and expect to get superstars. It doesn't work like that. And I think also asking the right questions. People saying, well, what training do we need? I don't think it's about training. I know people that know what to do, but they don't do what they know because they don't feel like it. And so for me, the question should rather be, what do we need to do to improve performance? And quite often the intervention will not be more training. or more skills. Not the hygiene factors of more salary or better work environment. It's an attitudinal thing. It's giving people recognition, reward, acknowledgement. Research in America shows that 60% of people that left the organization left because they didn't get the pat on the back to say well done. Wasn't the name on the door or a bigger bank balance. It was just somebody that came along and said, you know what, well done, that's really good. Think about it. How do you show your staff that you care? If you even do care. We seem to think because we're paying people salaries that we own them. You may own their bodies for that time from the 8 to 5, but you want to own their heart and their soul, and you need to find a new way in to that business. And the long-term issue is, I can steal your wife for a night, but how do I steal her forever? And I use that example for customers. I can steal your customer for one encounter, for one transaction. But how do I steal customers for life? Because at the end of the day, that's what you're looking for, is to have a customer base that stays with you for life. Which means you're talking about relationships. And relationships are people. It's not about the money, although that's one of the things. But it's the people that are interacting. If you're going to employ me as a salesperson, watch out. Because my relationships are so good with my customers, they will go with me where I go. And so that's something you've got to find a balance. If you're going to be moving your staff out, you've got to find a way to retain those relationships. But at the end of the day, you cannot do everything. You have to use staff and other people to build and maintain and to grow those relationships. So where is the power in business? Is it in the transactional part where you can make people buy more if you're looking at Jay Abrams? Or the value, getting them to pay more, or buy, sell up, or cross-sell, or loyalty systems? Or is it truthfully in the people? Who's got the power, really? For me, the people are the central hub of everything there. So let's play with your mind for a moment. How many squares? Shout out. 16. You've got mind lines. You're restricted. You have belief systems that you don't even know exist. 21, 22, 30. Jacques, how many squares? On the spot, 16. You see, the challenge that we have is we have lines in our head that we're not aware of, such as belief systems of how things are meant to happen, belief systems of how to treat people. We have expectations, and we're not aware of them. They're completely transparent. So have a look. How many squares are there? It's not a trick question. How many squares? 16 plus 1. Do you all get that? The 4 and 4 and the one big one. What about that one? What stopped you from seeing that? Or that one? Or that one? And that one? And that one? So how many do we have right now? And that one? And that one? You see, we have lines in our head that exist through belief systems. We don't even know that they exist. And so we have what? 16, 17, 29. What about that one? See, there are 30 squares, but we only see 16 or 17 or 20. But in truth, we have everything available to us, but we have these mind lines that restrict us and prevent us from seeing the whole picture. And so the moment you can get to seeing 30 squares, your life will change. But how about getting your staff to see 30 squares? Because these are the restrictions that prevent us from going forward. We can't go any further forward. One of the lovely examples I like is the elephant. Elephants are taught as a young baby with this huge stake and this big chain. They can't get away. They fight for however long. Eventually they say, you know what, I'll give up. And so that you see them at the circus today, this huge, massive elephant with this little rope. If it wanted to, it could pull away. But it doesn't, because it's been taught to be helpless. And we have huge levels of learned helplessness in our country right now. And we can get 30 to come somewhere. So what is it that your people need to do? What is it that you need to do in your business to become an incredible business? We've seen this word CRM People are spending millions on technology. I have a strong technology background. They are throwing literally millions of rands and dollars into CRM. But Anderson Consulting did some research and said, well, let's find where the real power is in CRM. And they found that 4 of the top 5 return on investments in companies with 1 billion or more related to the human aspect. By motivating and rewarding your staff better, by giving them customer service training, by turning the information that they have into insight that they can understand the client a whole lot more, choosing the right people with the right beliefs, attitudes, actions, values, once again understanding the mind lines that they carry, and building and inculcating a selling and a service and a support attitude with the highest return on investment environments. There are other things, price differentiation, brand development, and I've got the graphs if you're interested. But 4 of the top 5 ways of getting a return on your investment, the most powerful ways of getting a return, are through humans. What are you doing about leveraging those resources? Rather than spending $1 million on your CRM system, spend a few thousand on your staff. I will compete against any organization. You put technology, I'll take the people. Because what do people don't understand? They put in this machine, but you have to have a human operate this machine. And their attitude is going to control what you get out of the system. So attitude is a huge part of the business, and that's why right now up to 70% of all CRM initiatives have failed. You go and talk to the IT people, they complain that it's the people. The people complain that it's the technology. But where's the common core issue? People are where the power is. People don't work. In the old days, people were new teeth, just running them in today. Really low knowledge, low skill kind of situation. I'm talking quite a long time ago, but today we have very intelligent, very savvy, very smart people that don't just want to work for money. In fact, if you follow Faith Popcorn, people are cashing out of the business to get a life even for less money than they were getting. So people want to work for a cause. They want to fulfill their visions. And the challenge that I see often is companies going this way, and the people are going this way, and so this is what happens. The company doesn't get what it needs and wants and aims for. The person doesn't get what they want and need. And so there's kind of, we get half and half, which isn't ideal. But people have their own goals. They want to have decent relationships. They want to have meaning in their life. I'm doing coaching for some executive people. They're making huge money, but they have no meaning. They can't fill this part of their life just with money. And so what kind of meaning do you provide for people to have in the business? Because your organization will have some kind of mission and vision, but if it's just about making money, there's not going to be strong buy-in at all from those people. We have to change. We now got the triple bottom line, which is the profits, the people, and your environment and the communities around you. Because what happens to anybody, if I'm a vegetarian and I go and work for the abattoir, you have a huge problem. Our goals are completely misaligned here. And the only time you will really, really, really ignite your system and your team is to have your vision and something that they can aspire to that is parallel to their visions and their mission. And then you will have an extraordinary organization. It doesn't come easy because you've got to balance and juggle lots of people's focus and awareness and intentions and what they're wanting to achieve. But if you can find a way to give them a place to bring their soul to work, not just their head, I think you can create an incredible organization. This for me is just, what do we really do to show somebody that we appreciate what they're doing? I used to have a computer business. I see he's not here today. My ex-partner, Andre Maria, we had NIC. We were IBM System Center dealers. Viv will remember him. Genius. Technical, know everything genius. I was the smos that used to go out there and talk to the people. In fact, we used to joke about it. Do you know the technician and the salesman story? They went out into the bush and went camping. And so the salesman said to the technician, look, you stay here, I'm going to go and find us some food. So the technician was sitting there, and it was like 3 o'clock, 3:30, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. He thought, well, I better put up the tent. So he put up the tent, and he built a fire, and he built a protective space there, and he sorted out the water, and he sorted out the loo. Next thing is a hang of a noise in the bush, and out comes the sales guy with a lion a few meters behind him. And he runs straight through into the tent, and out the other side, closes the door, and he says to the technician, "Here's dinner, you sort it out, I'm going to get pudding." And so, for the situation that we had, Andre was a very clever guy, and he could do everything. But I, as a salesperson, I didn't get that recognition, that well done, excellent work, great job. After a period of time, I thought, what the hell am I doing here? Recognition is a huge part of our lives. Think about it. What is the real cause of trouble and strife in your business? Any business, or even in the family. Is it the things that we look at and we see, we look at salaries, the hygiene factors, the workplace, the new computer, the nice paint, the corner desk overlooking the river? But it's not. Research shows that 89% of all issues are emotional or head stuff, soft stuff. And the first training that people stop is the soft stuff. But that's where the power is. If you can get through to the people and resolve those issues, you have a huge, huge opportunity. Think about this. You try and increase your productivity by 10%. But keep in mind that people are spending 60% on protection. So out of their 40%, you're going to get about a 4% increase. If you can unwind some of that static that the people carry from their past, the fears, the issues, the stuff that's happened to them, and some of the static in the future, fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of being fired, and all of those fears that they carry. Because what happens is when you wake up in the morning, you've got X amount of energy, but you're going to invest some in the past issues. I don't know if I've got the thing there. And you're going to invest some in the future issues, which leaves you something for the day. But if you can cut that static by 50% and cut the conditions that are creating that static, you can double your productivity almost. I used to work at a place. I was very good at what I did, but the guy that I worked with was a pig. And it was just, I never really, really wanted to be there. I did what I had to do, only just. And then the rest, I ran away from it. If you can find a way to unwind that static, and there are ways, you can create incredible energy and passion within your organization. If you know NLP, there's a thing called logical levels in NLP, but I was sitting and thinking the other day and looking at the numbers of how much money is spent on training. And so what happens, if you look above the line, the abilities and the skills, we spend millions of rand training people. But you know what? Those people know what to do very often. They just don't feel like doing it. And so unless you address the issues beneath the line, because on the left-hand side you're going to find the negative perspectives, and the right-hand side the positive perspectives or attitudes. If you don't address the stuff beneath the line, they'll have the skill, they just won't apply it. You can whip them, they will not use it. And so you need to sort out the issues that are underneath that iceberg. The attitudes, the beliefs about what they can do, what they can't do, the learned helplessness, or the learned resiliency. There's a technology called AQ, or adversity intelligence. And we're able to measure a person's adversity intelligence profile, and we can in fact adjust it and increase it. But unless you address those leaks, think about it right now. How many of you are 100% here? Or how many of you have got little programs running in the back and saying, yes, I forgot about this or I forgot about that? Imagine if I said to you, I'm going to call up somebody just now and I'm going to make you do a strip. And then I go back to my talking. You've got a little program running in the background saying, geez, I hope he's not going to ask me to do this. And all of those little programs, those little windows that are open, all detract from the person's awareness and their focus and their attention. And unless you address those leaks, you can throw all you want at training and motivation. You're not going to get real passion and energy out of your organization. So here's a little formula you can write down. And when we're doing it, do it for yourself. Rate your level of calmness generally in your day-to-day life in your office out of 10. Rate your typical energy level out of 10. Obviously, energy is affected by a lot of things, eating styles, the environment, sick building syndrome, and a lot of other things. And subtract from that the level of tension and the level of tiredness. And then you will get your motivational potential. Not what you're getting, what you could get. So let's do a small example here. 5 calm, 6 energy, 7 tension, 4 tiredness. So it's 34-hour calmness, 28 for the tension. That's a 2% chance of motivation out of 100. And then you wonder why we've got productivity levels at the level we have. Just give this example to your staff, let them do it anonymously, and see what kind of results you get. You'll be absolutely astounded what you're going to find. There are 3 kinds of people in the world that we can now categorize through adversity intelligence. The predominant ones are the campers. They start climbing the mountain, they get up to a level, and then they get nice and comfy. They put out the tent, put up the TV set, put out the chair, and they just do what they have to do to get the salary. They don't make big changes, they don't make big waves, and they do enough, just enough that you can't fire them. They're the Jack 70-20-10 group. You get the quitters or the cancer that are part of the organization that whinge and bleat and whine, which you should actually get rid of, or give them a warme klap and wake them up. But with our current rules and regulations, it's a bit of a challenge to get rid of those people that are not performing. And then you get the climbers that are the superstars that are out there. And we want more of them. But the problem is, I've seen superstars get treated like pigs. I've seen people that are the absolute gold mine of organizations get treated like they are absolutely nothing, purely for an ego-based issue. Somebody wanting to prove that they are right. They've got the power. Categorize yourself. Where do you fit into this? Are you a camper? Are you a quitter? Are you a climber? You'll be glad to know we can adjust those scores through workshops that we do. The guy, Paul Stoltz, that put this program together, AQ Profiling, and I'm a member of the International Society for Performance Improvement. His workshops, he does an average increase of between 10 to 15%. Our best increase has been 51% in a person's AQ profile. We've come out of the industrial era, we're now in the information age, the intellectual property, and soon we're going to find that on the balance sheet, one of those things is going to be people. AST bought a subsidiary of Philips recently for quite a hefty amount of money. What they didn't realize or didn't really look into was what was the general attitude of the staff being taken over. They're not an asset, not the way they've been managed, not the way the thing went down. And you will see in the future, in the next 5 to 10 years, intellectual property and staff attitude will be put onto the balance sheets of businesses. I had to do this just for the ladies. But the primary reason that this is happening, and if you look at emotional intelligence in the world, people are being fired from very high level positions because of their didactical, controlling attitude. The reason that women are coming into the fore right now, they're much more nurturing, they're more supportive, they're more intuitive, they're more cohesive and collaborating, whereas men are egotistically competitive, irrespective of what they do. So if you're going to become this killer company, there are 2 kinds of customers you have to think about. One is the internal customer, which is your staff. And not many people think about those as customers. But how you treat your staff is how they will treat the customer. And then obviously the external customers. But it's about a relationship, and I think everything we're seeing today is people are wanting some more heart and soul out of the business rather than money, money, money. Give me more value than more bucks. Some people obviously want more money, but I think the core issue is around the value that the people get out of the business. But every one of these things here is driven at its heart by a human. A warm, walking, talking, thinking, feeling human. So why not do this? Why not just set up a game in your organization to do crazy things? Where the wacky and the crazy and the unusual are allowed. I remember the story of an IBM executive. He made a huge mistake and he cost the company $10 million. And he went to his boss and he said, I suppose you want my resignation. He said, no, we just spent $10 million educating you. Please come back. And so, is it safe to make mistakes in your organization? You may think so. Check out on the ground. Is it safe for people to explore and to test and to bring new ideas together? But also think about working with your customers, that you can not just steal them for an evening, but that you can steal them for life, that you can build those bonds with them. I have a quote that I've got to do for printing, and one of them is from a friend of mine. And it's interesting to observe the emotion that I go through in considering the different quotes and the pricing and the loyalty that I have. If you can make friends out of those customers, and you can truly satisfy their needs, the internal and the external, you can build an incredibly powerful organization. And so at the end of the day, it comes down, they say the fish stinks from the head. What kind of a leader are you? The bottom, the old style authoritarian, my way or the highway, where you're at the top of this pyramid and everything that you throw lands down on the heads underneath you? Or you're moving up towards being a facilitator, a collaborator, or a partner and a coach? Or you're truly a visionary person that can take knowledge and skill and turn it into wisdom, that you can build people around you to do you can't do the things on your own. If you're a one-man band, Stocksteen and Leon, great. But you know that two people together are about 10 times more powerful than one person? One person on their own out in the wilderness can last only so long. Two people can last a hell of a lot longer. Our internal chemistry is designed to work with cellular structures where we cohese, we work together, we pull together. Where do you fit in on the scale as a leader? Maybe you're not where you want to be. Maybe you need to become open enough to go away for a weekend with your staff. You don't need us to take you there. We'd love to take you. I'll be with you and facilitate. But just go away with the people and make it a safe place for them to say what they need to say. I did some work with the hardware distributors. It was a joke. One of the directors was fighting with the managers. There was slandering going through the emails. They were a national organization. And when I went in there and spoke to the staff, the attitude and the energy and the anger was permeating right through the organization. We took them away for 5 days. And for the first 2 days, I just sat with the executives and we gave them honest feedback. Brutal, as we would call Trevor, radical, brutal, honest, down the line, 100% feedback. Some guys ended up crying. But let me tell you what happened. By the 5th day, we had a team of people that cohesed and built together the most incredible organization. In 5 days, we took a team of 33 people doing 150 million rand a year and falling. They were about to shut down, and they turned around. But it took the strength and the courage of those leaders and the managers and the directors to say, you know what? We're coming off our high chairs. We're coming down to your level. Gloves are off. You can say what you need to say. Some blood ran, but that's fine. Because unless you clear it out and resolve those issues, it's going to fester and fester and fester, and you will never have the truth. Think about it. Find a way that you can go back to the office and see how much of your people's energy is being wasted on protection because of the structures and the politics that you have in your organization. Find a way that it's safe for them to unwind whatever fears and static and stuff they've got. There are incredible technologies now that you can get on the internet. There are workshops, there are coaching. Coaching is becoming a huge technology nowadays, and a process and a strategy people are applying. But start some kind of a process that you're going to build your people for the longer term. They are the most powerful point of your business. You are the most powerful point. The biggest investment you can make is in yourself and your human energy and your human capital. Because the problem that you have is when they walk away, research shows that 70%, between 60 and 70% of your intellectual property, knowledge, skill, and ability is here. It's not in the filing cabinets. It's not in paper. It's in the person's head. Don't lose them. It costs an arm and a leg to get new guys and to train them, to get them up to speed. It costs you even more to get the clients and the trust and the loyalty and that relationship back again. Take your team and build the team like a family. Measure, set standards. Not saying become all soft and mushy like a huggy bear, but set standards, set fair parameters. Give people the tools and the opportunity. But start creating a team together, that you find ways and you take input from them. Like the story about the helicopter. You've got guys in the organization or people in the organization at the lower levels that will give you incredible information. They're at the coalface. Have a listen to that. I heard the comment from one person. They said, I'm not even going to participate because whatever I say, they never use. And so that person shuts down. And the problem today is when they shut down inside, you can't see it. You can whip them, you're not going to get it. And so you've got to be gentle and kind and create an environment that enables people to start living their dream. It enables people to bring their soul with them to work. And that will enable you to unleash the power of passionate, positive people.